Okay, here's my thoughts on the new Star Trek movie. It is nowhere near as bad as Dragon Ball Evolution. I recommend it if you're a Star Trek fan or at least interested in it even slightly, because it is a much better representation of an old TV show from the 60s and 70s than, say, the Dukes of Hazzard movie. It's like actually relevant to the canon of Star Trek because it actually fills out some details in it that aren't in the series that I've watched so far. Like, you find out new things about the characters rather than it just being, a rehash of or a reboot of the series. It's a prequel to the original Star Trek series, and the characterizations of the characters like Bones and William Shatner's character, Captain Kirk, James Tiberius Kirk, they're spot on. And even Spock, who I don't know the actor Spock in this movie, but he was brilliant. I mean, in this movie, Spock is depicted as more of an asshole than he is in the series, but this is his formative moments in his youth that generally get depicted on screen, like the moments that make Spock decide who he's going to be later in the series, in the original series. Yeah, it's like there are far worse incarnations of the Star Trek universe than this. I mean, if you want to start out with a more it's a upmarket version of the original series formula. Like, there's aliens, there's fist fights, there's starship battles, there's the honor of the captain thing going for it. And it's generally not a disappointment at all, as far as I'm concerned. Happened in it that I'm not going to spoil. Like, if you've seen the original series, it's going to have a bigger emotional impact on you than if you haven't seen it. For example, some of the moments in that movie, you'll know the significance of those events. Like, if you're a middle-aged Star Trek nerd, you're probably going to have a much greater attachment to this movie than somebody who's only watched, like, the first season like I have. But even if you just watch the first season of Star Trek, you'll still have a great connection to what the events of this movie and what their impact is on the characters. And the special effects are good. But some people think it's too nerdy. It's the everyman's movie. I mean, every man, woman, and child who's ever been interested in Star Trek, go see this movie. I mean, it is much better than I expected it to be. It's directed by J.J. Abrams, but it's absolutely one of the most interesting films I've seen this year in terms of mainstream Hollywood movies. I mean, it's not Slumdog Millionaire, but what is? Slumdog Millionaire is trying to be something completely different. But as far as mainstream Hollywood special effects driven movies go, this actually has some effort put into it. And I highly recommend that you see it, because it's best watched in the cinema with your mates who are nerds, to really bond together watching things blow up on a screen, but you're given an explanation why, and the pathos of things blowing, rather than things blowing up for the sake of things blowing up. And that's a rare thing in action films these days. Anyway, I recommend that you go see this movie as soon as possible. Okay, I'll see you next time with some more reviews. The Star Trek movie that's just come out, I recommend that you go see it now. Now!